Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, episode 19 of Cultivating a New Generation. And today with me is Julie and Guthrie Smulson. And she's with us today to speak about the energy of your soul, which is a very passionate topic about spiritual energies, how you can heal everything that we are connected with, all the energy in the planet and with all the people, and how to start trusting more in that kind of energy. So in order to begin this conversation, I will give the word to Julie so that she can present herself and just speak about what is your story and who you are and what you do. Julie.
Thank you, David. I love this opportunity to share what I do, and it's a pleasure to be here today. I'm an author, I'm a spiritual healer, um, I'm a podcaster, and an entrepreneur. uh,
Nice.
I have a lot of things going on right now. My spiritual path has probably been part of my life, all of my life, and previous lives, if you believe in previous
Yeah,
lives.
of course.
And so, you know, a lot when people walk this path, whether, some people choose religion, which is closely, if they're not aware of it, part of a spiritual walk.
Yeah.
Whether it's religious based or another path like I've taken where I use different modalities. And some of those are very at the other spectrum of religion, and people don't connect with what my path is. But I used like a lot of psychics, a lot of card readers, energy healers, sound healers. And the thing that came about in these energy healings, which I was a skeptic of going into this, and then I saw what happened, and what was happening was I was able to see patterns of behavior,
Mm,
patterns of experiences, patterns of beliefs that came to the surface. And so they were reoccurring throughout my whole life. And now I know in past lifetimes. So those things come up to be healed. And it's up to us. We are our own healers. We are the only ones that can break that cycle. And I just utilize other healers to help and also learn from in
mm,
the process. We need other people in this process.
yeah.
Just like, what you do. You're a teacher. You're a healer in your own right, with your message and how you reach people in becoming more aware of their body. Where in my work, I am an empath. And when I work on someone, I don't really want to know what they come in for. If
Mm,
if they have an intention in their healing session, I will make note of that. But generally, um, they're unaware of what needs to be healed. So, as an empath, I don't really want to know anything about them. They're complete strangers to me. And I use my intuition and my empath abilities and to I get information from their body. And these are emotions that are trapped in the body.
mm,
And so after a session with my clients, I discuss this with them in hopes that they're awakened to their own existence, their own energy,
yeah.
so that they can heal that. Um, I've had plenty of experiences like this, and I hope I get more feedback in the future of how I help people. But this is our process,
Yeah.
and we need to be aware. If I with your audience, future, um, take note. If you want to change, I'm not saying you need to go out and get a card reading or go see a psychic or and if you do, make sure they have a lot of reviews and you're a good fit with that person. Um, but beyond that, and in doing that, be aware what you're thinking,
Yeah.
what you're feeling. And, I use um, journaling a lot.
Mm.
Okay. So this gets us in tune with ourselves. No one else is going to do this work except for us. So when we can identify those patterns of behavior, those experiences that aren't necessarily in our best interest, we are able to connect to our own energy and change it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that because when I also love to journal and I also love to write things, download them because it's a mess in here many times, no? And thoughts are coming and going, and many of those thoughts are not even yours. So the idea when I journal is that what you are saying, I connect with me, I connect with my own energy, my own path of thoughts, and I try to synchronize and align the ones that I want to keep and to get out the ones that I don't really like or are not benefiting in terms of my health, as you say. And I completely believe about that message of the past lives, even though I am a scientist, because many people think that scientists are against spirituality, and that's just a myth. That is just a complete myth that has to be also taken away from the public. And nowadays, I think that the two sciences or the two realms are coming together to create what we need. No, right now is like a scream of many people that we need this kind of energy and we need to match that kind of energy. No.
Absolutely. So, what's been a really big theme, a lot of my work comes from my personal experiences and going through this process. And so the biggest theme lately has been holding space. Okay. And holding space is a space where there's no judgment.
Yeah.
So, first and foremost, we have to do that for ourselves and stop the negative talk in our heads about who we are and our existence and our experiences, and just see them for what they are. And then once because, holding space is also a part of self care and self
Yeah.
nurturing. And so beyond that, holding space for another person. So if they're hurting and they just need to talk, let we have, as a society and humans and our interactions with one another, is to hold space for them. We don't have to react. We don't judge others, and we just let them be and say what they need to. We don't, you know,
Yeah.
because that's part of healing, and it's really important in the healing process to do that.
I relate to that because whenever you meet a person that is open and you don't feel judged, you can be yourself. That's when you are feeling like at home. No, I
Free.
free, free to be you, free to say whatever you say, and just completely open to whatever comes in the conversation, no? And i I have been like that since I am a child. I think is one of the qualities. Now I see it, but many people in the past used to tell me that I was too straight or too direct, or that I didn't have
A filter.
sometimes, yes, some boundaries or something. But I just spoke my truth, and that's it. It was not saying anything negative, but it was just saying what I felt, no? So
Well, sometimes it's not good to do that,
I know. I know for
right?
my own live experience or life experience that sometimes you is not the best, but now I have tuned in the those words and the energy, and so it comes out much better.
Yeah, with our society, we've seen a lot of uh, this energy on social media where it is very negative and people are reacting and they're trying to fight, you know, because everybody wants their truth heard.
Yeah,
And the truth is we don't need to react to those conversations that are going on that aren't serving to bring an understanding between the people.
yeah, biasing people, no, dividing.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of division out there. And if we can cultivate, using your term, which is great, you know, this idea of holding space and not reacting to our own thoughts and our own feelings. I mean, I've had experiences just in the last 3 months here where I posted something and somebody took offense to it because they attached, and I don't know this person, to go out. I don't generally go out and attack people online
No,
by my posts, and this person took it and melded it into their own experience and regurgitated. I have no idea what this person's experience is,
yeah,
and they took offense to, they attached some other story to it. So I did react to it, but not directly. So
yeah. It is complex because when you express something, that's your own expression, that's your own vibration, and you have certain intention with that, no? But when you read something, the person that is reading is picking up a different intention based on their own experiences, based on their own journey. So, of course, they are going to react sometimes. And it's just completely honest to say, well, that's not what I meant. I respect your point. That's it. No,
mhm.
everybody can be happy. That's it. No,
Exactly, and that's what we as we have a responsibility to ourselves and healing ourselves,
yeah,
each one of us, so that we can interact and experience life so differently in a better way,
yeah.
so that's my intention.
And just illuminate me with one of your experiences in terms of how do you help to heal people, or just walk me to through the journey of one of your healing events.
Well,
Mhm.
a lot of times our emotional pain is expressed physically. Okay. So, my son's fiance had a really bad toothache, and she tried every like medication she could. She couldn't get into the doctor. She really didn't. She's kind of like on the fence about what I do. And I'm like, okay, are you open to me giving you some Reiki, which is energy healing? And she allowed me to do it. I was, sending her Reiki energy to relieve the pain. And she was crying from this pain. And within 5 minutes, her pain was completely gone.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting
Mm-hmm.
is the mouth, this chakra here, this part of the body is related to communication.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of emotional body mapping in my work. And so I will generally, if I pick something up like that in the body, I will get impressions. With her, I didn't go there because I knew she was on the fence and I didn't want to turn her off to what I do completely. So, and maybe it's just not meant for me to go to. I do pick up grief in the heart, a lot of grief in the heart. And generally, my clients can tell me exactly what's going on in their life, and it completely relates to what I pick up. It's just making them aware so they can fix the problem. So I'm just a conduit. I'm not a miracle worker. I don't perform miracles. I don't cure people. I make them aware of what they need to heal. So sometimes people don't like to hear it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the process.
Exactly.
So I have more experience healing myself than I do with other people because I am actively always working on myself. So with me, I have, changed a lot of my belief system, my trying to be less judgmental of myself. And when you can clear that away, you can achieve great things.
Yeah, because you are your own judge and your own limitation, no?
Exactly. So once you can change your own beliefs about yourself and your limitations, there's no limit and you're free to achieve your goals.
Yeah.
So right now, when I first started my journey, I went and worked with some healers for like a month. And in this process, when I came back, I went on a trip. I did it like a ceremony ritual. And when I came back, I was just high as a kite. I'm not on drugs or anything, but high, like on this experience that I'm going to achieve great things. So when I came back, I'm like, I'm going to learn how to play the drums. I'm going to write my book. I've got the title. I'm just like, let's go. So it's baby steps, one step at a time. And it's just like learning how to play an instrument. You have to slow down, read the music. You're not going to be perfect at first. You're going to mess up a bunch of times. You're going to be out of tune. You're not going to sound good, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to slow down and go through the process of learning and experiencing step by step in order to get where you want to go. It's just an analogy, and, learning to play those drums. I took lessons for 1.5 years and I wasn't bad. I still have a lot to learn though, but that's part of the process. And that's a part of healing ourselves is, okay, it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And no, continue.
It's okay. It's going to take time to heal.
Yeah.
You can't we live in this instantaneous society where let's just flick the switch and everything's going to be fine. Well, it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. It took a long time to get into this crappy position we're at in this state to fix it. So it's going to take time to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the posts and the videos that I did during this week, speaking about the fear of releasing something or just expressing your work, because people is afraid of what is going to think, and the opinions, and making mistakes. So I just spoke that we are our own judges. We think that people are going to have an opinion, but mostly it's positive. Or if it's criticism, it makes you improve also. No, it's if it's envy, then it means that you are doing good. And people feel threatened sometimes by you doing your own thing, no?
It's very true. And when you go through your own healing process, um, there are some people that get removed from your life
Yeah,
because they are not in alignment with what you need to do as a human being here on the earth this time around.
yeah,
But also, they are there to serve a purpose. Like you say, they're going to make us better. They're going to make us step back and look at what we're doing. And sometimes you just have to tune that junk out
yeah,
because your mission is so it's in your soul, it's in your blood, it's in your bones, and it doesn't matter what anybody else says.
yeah.
You're
I
gonna you're gonna move forward. Eventually you get to that point. It's like, sorry,
yeah,
sorry, I can't listen to this. I ain't got time for it.
yeah, exactly. And I think that this process that we have lived everywhere in the world, this pandemic state and this virus came to open the eyes of many people and to really clean. It was a
Mhm.
cleaning, deep cleaning system, because many people healed, many people improved, many
Mhm.
people took their own life by the hands and start doing what they were afraid to do, because they were pushed by the pressure of not having the same kind of business that they had before,
Mhm.
or the same kind of
Mhm.
job that they had before. And as you say, you are also going to clean your social circle. It happened to everyone. I think
Mhm.
that we just start to take our own path, and people just went in the other way if they have to go anywhere else, no?
Ex- exactly. I think as a society right now, we as individuals really need to kind of step back from 2020 in this pandemic situation and go, okay, what was the good that came out of this last year? Even though, we were stuck on the couch or, you know, in our home office somewhere. Um, what were the good things? What really resonated through the whole thing that was good that we're going to take and we're going to apply to 2021 and beyond? For
Yeah,
me, I had to rethink things. I really wanted, I just opened a brick and mortar office in the prior December in 2019, and I struggled with having to close it.
yeah,
And I had to be okay with it and go, this isn't defeat. This is out of your control. What else can you do? So I started my own podcast and bringing those healers and people like yourself onto my podcast to share what they do to help other people. And it was just an extension of my business. So I also had time to do more personal healing, and through that process, I was led to take that idea, that intention of helping other people, bringing healers together, other people together. They don't have to necessarily be healers or call themselves healers, but they make a contribution to society in a positive manner. So my next idea is taking that to the marketplace and community I'm building online.
Yeah.
So I can't say 2020 was a really bad year because it brought future possibilities.
Yeah. And that's something that we all have to learn, that the crisis, that the chaos is just energy fixing itself so that it aligns with what you want. You are the only one that can align that energy in terms of your life, in terms of what you want to do, and the expansion is on you. It's not on the outside, I don't know, noise, no, because that's just a way to manipulate into making you like the, how do you say, the hearth, no? So,
Yeah, so we really need to look at that. This is, some people called this period of time uh, the dark night of the soul of the earth and all of the people. And in that process, if people aren't aware of this, the dark night of the soul is where we're all crying, we're going through our pain is coming to the surface to be transmuted to the positive. So we're still going through that. So we just have to baby ourselves and listen to ourselves. And, I don't know how much time we have left. And we got a lot of time to talk.
yeah, we have time.
You know, there's one thing I'd like to speak to, and that is the promptings of the soul. So I know there's a lot of innovative and creative ideas that came from this pandemic and that are going to emerge. It's just gonna be an explosion of all of this creative energy that people had time to think about.
It was incubation process.
Exactly. So I think there's a lot of people out there that are going to be following the promptings of their soul. And that's really important to do, not just like starting a business, but in our daily lives. If you have the ability to be fluid and feel your intuition telling you, well, I feel like doing this today. If you have the flexibility to do it, then that's what you should be doing, because it's a miraculous process. Because when you do that and you're able to flow with life and hear what you want inside, you tend to be led to different opportunities and different people, different circumstances, different experiences that make you grow.
That voice that you say, intuition, is so important.
Exactly.
As we start relating more to that inner dialogue and constructing more the ideas that we have, the feelings, that itching and feeling that we have had for several years or several months. And now it's time to do it, because many times also talking about that idea of the fear and not releasing things, many many people also don't trust in themselves when hearing that voice, no, because they relate to the messages of they have heard in their story in their childhood, and that's something that is not yours, and that you have to just clean and let the other voice speak louder and trust that voice, no.
Exactly. It's, we're so influenced by, and you write in your book, Cultivating a New Generation. We, not just as couples, but as individuals, we have to review what garbage was put into us, our belief system. Um, the color blue is the best color in the world. If you're going to believe that as a child, you're going to have a very narrow perception of yourself and your interaction with the world. So it's like, well, wait, there's a rainbow of colors, and there's just this huge spectrum that, if we can break down those little mental barriers and to be able to like see the rainbow,
Yeah,
see and learn and read and expose yourself to new experiences. And you know what? I'm a human being too. And I still have to go through this process. Okay. I got problems. I'm not perfect. you
yeah,
know,
anyone is, yeah,
but when you can identify those things, you have the ability to change those
yeah.
and open your own world.
And it is so important that to go beyond the messages, because one of the messages that, for example, in what I do, was imbuing people, was that your brain was going to lose neurons as you grow older. And that is just a complete lie nowadays. Nowadays, we know that we have neuroplasticity, and that our brain is always regenerating and growing if we have the intuition and the direction of making it grow. If we are cultivating with the new ideas, if we are reading, if we are learning, if we are reflecting, journaling, all of those things make your brain grow, and exercising, no? But if we stay just static, and if we don't do anything that challenge us, then probably you are going to lose the capacity because you don't need it. No, it's like
Right.
if you are in the traffic, you don't need 120 horses of power in your car if you are in the traffic. So if you are in your life in a traffic situation and you are not moving because you don't want to, your brain is going to say, well, you are in the traffic, you don't need much power, so let's download the power and let's use it for other things, no? So
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. Um, you know, when you go down a path like this, from my person, you kind of start getting glimpses of where you need to go next too. So in that process of learning and growing, you're also finding new paths that weren't even on your radar before. So in my personal healing, you're talking about the brain. So as a child, I suffered a lot of trauma to my head. And that's part of my healing,
hmm,
because there's a lot of abuse that I don't remember, because I was programmed to forget.
mm,
And so that's part of my process. And through that, it's a negative. Yes, it's a very hot topic. But taking that negative, and I will heal from this. It's just going to take time. It's a process. And so, processing memories that might be coming up for me, that are very traumatic and shocking to myself, because I had no knowledge of this for over 40 years. So that's just going to be a process. But now this whole thing is taking me into another direction of being an advocate, to changing the world, to, having child abuse, child sexual abuse, and human trafficking become more aware, so we can change that, so we can expose the truth to it. I was talking to someone a couple weeks ago, and they're like, well, that happened to you in the 70s. I'm like, well, just because the 70s aren't here anymore doesn't mean that that stuff doesn't still go on. It's still prevalent in our society, and it's more so than is reported in the world.
Yeah.
And so, it's fascinating, because that's just my path. Everybody else has their own path. They have their own purpose here. They have their own work to do here.
Yeah.
So that's just part of my work.
When, for example, when you find people that is stuck in their own journey, what is something that you, or how do you approach that people that sometimes is stuck, and I don't know, they are just, as they say, set in their ways?
All of my life, I've been this person that's like a cheerleader for other people, because I'm an empath, and I've probably been an empath all of my life, where I feel other people's feelings on a very, very deep level, to where I feel it in my body. And so I've always been the cheerleader. Like, you got this. Maybe it's that, what do they call that? Toxic positivity. So I've been like the toxic positivity cheerleader for people. But lately that's kind of morphed into being, and this is part of developing my communication skills, is to be a little bit more tough on them.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with somebody else. They're stuck, right? They're unhappy. And one of their family members is sick. And they're quipping, they're talking negative talk, like, because they're not getting something. It's out of their control, but they are not contributing positively to the situation. And so I had to say, look, do you realize that if you help this person, you're helping yourself? And the conversation pretty much ended there.
Yeah.
And it was kind of interesting, because I know that the same person heard the same message from another person, but it was spoken a different way. So when I said it, because I've known this person for a very, very, very long time, and this is one of their patterns, that I'm not going to go, oh, you need to fix this. It's not for me to say what they need to fix. I'm not. It's just something that came up, and I had to say it, because it's like, oh, I can't take this abusive talk because I'm an empath and I have to separate my energy. It's like, wait, do you realize you can help yourself by helping this person? And I think that's a big message, not just for my friend,
Yeah.
but for, other people in the world. And I haven't talked to this person since, but they have their own work to do. And it's, this is a personal friend of mine. It's not for me to point out, I rather hold space for my friends than try to fix them.
Yeah.
But if I'm repeatedly hearing the same talk, I'm going to speak up. And that's another thing that we need to be aware of in our own lives is if we keep hearing the same thing, you better pay attention. Why does this keep coming up?
Yes, that's the intuition. That's the message that has to pass through. No, but many times we have so many layers of resistance that they have to be demolished from ourselves. No, we are our own um, limitation in that sense. No, because we really knew what we have to do, but we say, well, I need to experience more pain many times, no? In order
Well,
to
we're not getting it up here. That's part of the problem. We're just not. It's like it's going to get louder and louder. Well,
exactly.
it'll go away, but it's going to come back because we got to deal with it, so we can heal it and overcome those barriers and blockages that we have.
Yeah, and not get to the stage of suffering, no? Because we can just listen to the pain when it is subtle, when it is light or soft, and just pay attention to those words or to that physical pain sometimes, and pay more attention to that point of reaction, no? And from there, if you start paying more attention to those points, you won't get to the stage where the pain is going to be yelling, and then you are going to get to the stage of suffering, no?
Yes, crisis or disease or dysfunction in the body. Really, if we're not mentally and emotionally in tune and listening to our body, it's, it's going to come out in a disease form.
Yeah.
Or pain in the body. I'm very aware of what's going on in my body. As I personally, doing this work and learning the emotional body map in the body, it makes sense. Sometimes I get a sore throat. It's like, okay, what's going on? Am I talking too much? Am I talking crap? Or am I talking good? So, and it's not necessarily for the throat per se.
Yeah.
It's not, you just have to be aware of what you're doing in your life, that because it's like, hello, hey, maybe you're not saying something, maybe you're not expressing yourself properly, and it turns into a sore throat or an itchy throat or a cough, or like a cough would definitely be something stuck there that
Yeah.
needs to come out, so. But
Yeah.
that's part of my work, and I hope to get back to working with people in person and doing more energy healing work. That my focus has become more broad. So, by I'm really trying to bring people together and to have this conversation like we're having today.
Yeah.
Very, very much so along those lines is personal healing and taking responsibility for ourselves.
That's extremely important that we do right now. That those spaces, no, to let people listen, because sometimes listening to what we are saying right now, it's going to relate to their own lives and to what they are experiencing. So that's very powerful right now that we have these platforms to impact the people in that way, and also make them aware that this is just a talk. This is just a message that has to be now put in your own experience and downloaded. If you just leave the messages in the mind and then you just forget about them, nothing's going to happen, no? So the idea is that whenever you have these kind of conversations or you listen to something that is designed to help you grow, is pick up the messages. Even if you pick up one thing or two things from a broad conversation, make it a task, a homework
Yes.
that you can start doing after some reflection about your own life. No?
It's not just from our conversations, because
Yeah.
somebody's watching this or my podcast or going to church and going through a service at church. They're going to get a message, okay? And what's amazing about whatever message they're supposed to hear and think about is going to get reflected if they're watching TV, if they're having a conversation, or if they're sitting at a restaurant and they're overhearing someone else. They're going to be aware, make yourself aware, because it's a reflection of what you need to do, your work.
Exactly. It is vibration, no? That is moving through the space, and we need to pick it up. So if we don't do something, we are going to keep hearing the echo in other parts, no? Or with other people, as you mentioned with the example of your friend, no? That he already listened to those things. And how many people have done that experience, no? Even in our own lives, we have listened to that, to a message or to something, and until we listen it from someone that sometimes we trust more, or it's in alignment with our timing, that's when we start doing something, no? But
And
we
then,
already listened to that, no?
but then the message changes. So
Yeah,
this is also a process to make yourselves more aware. So once you get this message, another one's coming down the pipeline if it's not already in your face.
yeah. I was also doing a training and listening to something that was talking about the energies and how when we speak to the universe, when we release our words and they are more conscious on what we say and we want to express, then the universe will pick up that energy and will make it your own, no? As the affirmations, no? If we just do the affirmation process, but we don't really put a date or we don't really specify the message, then the universe is not going to be able to give you what you want in the time that you want it, no? So,
Yeah, there's a lot, to be said for that. Intention, intention, intention. So that's that self-talk. If you keep talking that self-talk, you need to switch your intention. What's your intention? Like, get in tune with the light, the light side, the good side. Um, that's been part of my process, is just changing that energy, that the thought process. Mind you, thoughts and emotions are energy. So, like you're saying, um, what was I going to say beyond that? Oh my gosh. So because of that energy that you're putting out there and you're speaking, that can keep you trapped in your car in the traffic, you know.
Hmm.
So by speaking gratitude, oh, thank you for this. This is wonderful. More of this. More of this. More of this, please. Thank you. And less of that. Less of that.
Yeah.
So when there's a lot of practices out there that people ascribe to, like doing gratitude, for 3 different things a day or 5 different things a day, which helps, even if they're not connected to the holy intention. If that becomes a daily practice, it does become more intentional and more connected to the person. So
Yeah.
it's more that it's part of switching that energy to the positive.
Yeah, exactly. As you say, that sometimes we are stubborn, let's say, to to keep on one thing, and we are seeing the signals that are trying to change us direction, but we don't want to. We want to stay with that, no?
It's
And
easy.
yeah, sometimes we receive the signal that is louder, and then we say, well, I have to let it go, no?
We're in our comfort zone. We need to get out of our comfort zone so we can make a positive change.
Yeah, exactly. By just moving from that area of comfort is where we are going to find the different paths that are going to be open. No, as you say, when you were having a hard time to let go the office that you opened in 2019, you didn't know that something else was expecting and was broader and more powerful. No, but we sometimes get attached to the things or to the
Mm-hmm.
ideas, or and we are creating barriers for for the next big thing that is coming from us, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I had that experience. I had that experience. It was just an experience. It's
Yeah.
temporary. It's temporary. It's just like, if if people want to move forward and get out of their comfort zone, it's just baby steps. You don't have to like go from here to like here.
Yeah.
Just go here. Just go here. Then the next day, okay, let's go. And then you'll get there. It's a process. It's a process.
I always like to see those baby steps. As for example, I enjoy running, and when I started to run, when because was not my main sport, was like, well, let's run 3 kilometers. From there, let's run five, let's run six, seven, until I was able to run a half marathon. No,
Mm.
so that's the idea. Until you start pushing yourself, but giving the baby steps, you are going to get to where you wanted, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just a process. It's just a journey. No,
Yes, yes.
it's not instantaneous, as you were saying, that the culture right now is like everything has to be instantaneous. And if it is not, it's not worthy or whatever. No?
Yeah, yeah. And going into this new realm of like what I'm creating right now is way beyond anything I've ever done before. And, I just want it done. And I have to keep telling myself, no, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. Next thing on the list, just you'll get there. It might take longer. It might take longer than you want it to, but just this is a worthwhile project.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yes, it's that confidence that you give yourself, no? That you are going to get there, and you have to see what you already did, what you already
mhm.
achieved, and see your own life and to the past. No, I was also listening to a podcast, and this person, I don't remember the name, he was being interviewed by Simon Sinek, and he was saying that our past is the steps where we have to learn, the process that we have to take for the future. No, so if we want to envision a new future, the past is your layout. No, it's like the mapping of the things, even though there will be failures or there will be mistakes, but those are the mistakes and the failures that you don't have to repeat in the future, mostly. No.
Let's hope not. Because
Yeah.
I personally, in my process in this lifetime, for my healing, have two other lifetimes
Mm.
that are like mirrors of this lifetime. So what happened to me in this lifetime happened to me in those lifetimes.
Mm.
And I wasn't able to fulfill my life purposes in those lifetimes. And this lifetime, I will. In fact, my work from this lifetime, I know, will be carried on by my bloodline.
Mm.
And they will carry on my work. And so sometimes you just have to sit and say, I don't understand it all. It's all at some point, and I hate this because I like things done now. I'm impatient. And that's part of the process, is learning how to be patient,
Yeah,
you
also
know. So
that's what also I pick up from this time, no, these years, that this 2020 and part of this year, that we really learn to be patient with things, no.
and
we
other
really got
people.
out we really got out from the instantaneous mindset into the right now. Nothing is going to be instantaneous, so you better get used to. And that was a good thing also, if the people that was addicted or attached to the instantaneous now can pick up that message, that's the winning situation, no.
Absolutely. Sometimes we have to experience bad things, and good things come from bad things.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like they say, you have to go through the storm to see the sun. I mean,
Yeah, the contrast, no.
yeah, yeah. So there are so many things that are coming that in this world that are going to be so good for all of us, not just one or two, or it's going to be all of us.
It's
if
going
we're
to be a
if
change.
And we have to be open to receive that. That's another thing.
Exactly.
Holding space helps us do that.
Beautiful. Can you share with the audience what is going to be the project, even though whatever you want to share, whatever you are allowed to share right now, so that they can pay attention to what you are doing?
Okay, well, I am building, it's called Zen Buzzies. And I went through like 3 days trying to come up with a name. And that's what I came up with because the domain name was available. So, and believe it or not, some people online go by that name. So, anyways, it the platform is called zenbuzzies.com.
Okay.
I'm hoping to launch in July, but if it doesn't happen, hold on, it'll happen soon. So, it is a marketplace where people can buy and sell products, services. So if you do coaching, you can sell your coaching. I do distance healing, I do distance Reiki, so I can sell that. Courses. Did I already say that? Courses.
No.
Um, events and retreats. Hopefully, we'll see more in-person retreats and
Yeah.
events, but also online events and what's going on. And hopefully, a lot of people will be doing free events online, like they're doing now. Like there's so much out there, but this will be a place for the spiritual and paranormal community to come and talk. And there's so much more of this platform. I'll have a community blog where people can submit consideration for being posted on the website. There's going to be a discussion board. There's also going to be a social media part. So it'll be like other social media, but on the site. I'll have my podcast on there. Hopefully later on we'll be putting your podcast, but I will also have an online radio station here. So I'm encouraging those healers, teachers, light workers that have things that they want to sell online to come to the platform and share that with other people that need to hear their message or have their healings through this platform. So I'm really excited because it's just an extension of that closed up brick and mortar place, because I could only reach so many people in that community. Now with this platform, there's no limitations. It's world. I
Yeah.
can reach the world now. So so just keep that in perspective as far as 2020. I closed that door to that brick and mortar. Now I can go worldwide. The limitations are broken.
Beautiful. Yeah, so we are going to be waiting for the platform. We are going to be there to help you. And of course, we are going to invite more people to create a new world, to contribute, to cultivate using the words. And that's what the meaning of the word cultivating, because when we cultivate a plant, for example, when we water it, when we like when we give it sun, when we take care of it, when we speak good words, then everything can flourish, no? And that's what we want with this community, to flourish the community, to expand it, and to touch as many hearts as possible.
So let me share my tagline with you and your audience. The tagline of this website is evolving humans to elevate the human experience.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful tagline, beautiful motto, let's say. And that's what we came for, to evolve, not to go backwards.
And it's related to cultivating
Yeah,
ourselves. So
yeah.
thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
having me.
Julie. Thank you for your talk. Thank you for sharing all this spiritual journey. And thank you for creating something that many people need right now. And it will help a lot of people to find their own journey. No?
Mm-hmm. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Are we
So,
done?
yeah, guys, if you like the podcast, if you like the message, just help us to share it with your people, with your community, with your families, with your friends. And if you want more content, just visit my website and Julie's website, that is going to be ready soon. And
Mm-hmm.
we are going to also post the links to both spaces, and we will be waiting for you on the next episode. Thank you very much for your attention, and we'll see each other on the next episode. Thank you. Bye.